Well, welcome to the 2013 Northeast Performance Diesel Truck Pulls, and this is 110 octane. This vehicle right here is actually going to be getting into the scales pretty soon to get weighed in for its class. As you can see here, this is not your average vehicle. We got the giant tires here for the pulling that actually groove specifically for this style of track. We have the weight bracket in the back. This adds some extra weight for traction on the back when we get the weight coming up on the sled as they're pulling down the track. We come on back, we got the fuel cell back here, the battery relocation section here. We have a T-bucket style body here, which is very unique in this class. Absolutely heavy-duty chassis for this type of pulling, followed by this big block engine here. You definitely need some good horsepower when you're running something like this to be able to get you pretty good down the track.
I hope she just kicked that again, nothing.
Well, here we are with Larry, the sled operator. Larry, we see you going up and down all day long and, you know, obviously getting pulled one way and driving back.
Right.
What's with all these levers here? How does this actually operate?
This is your clutch for the box. This is the emergency box brakes. These are the emergency box brakes for the rails. These are the wheel brakes. This is the actual wheel brake that stops the sled when I'm going down the track if there's an emergency or something might happen. It has 860 feet of air line in it, 2 miles of wire. A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. 350 Chevrolet, AT540 Allison, 38,000 pound Rockwells, 3-speed auxiliary, 4-speed Chevrolet, and a 2-speed rear. That comprises of 24 gear settings that the box can go up within 300 feet. Then I put the wheels down in the front, the airbags, have the brakes applied, put the bags down, front of the sled comes up, put the power divider in drive, put the Allison in drive, and backwards or forwards, and that's how I run the box back and forth when I have to run the box back at the end of the track. Then when I get to the starting line of the track, wheel brakes are on, clutch is disengaged, wheels are off, okay? And then the last one, it's all tied in with low pressure and high pressure brake switches. Take that off, the lights in the front turn green. Everything works on 26 pressure switches, so there can't be any failure if I forget the wheels are off or the box drive isn't engaged, because the worst thing you want is the sled going down the track and have the box rocket backwards or something break. My main concern is safety with people. We've been that way for 20 years. But other than that, it's a lot of fun, but you really meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
That's what keeps us in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it seems like there's so much going on, but I mean, you just zip up and you can zip right back, and it's just back and forth. It's second nature to you.
It gets monotonous after a while. Drives you nutty, to be honest with you, but it's fun. I just put a new motor, new Allison transmission in it, fuel injection, just got it back together here, and we've been out a couple of times. We get about 28 pulls, 28 fairs to do this summer.
So what is the total weight that goes into the box for the weight?
This weighs 30,000 empty, and I can freight the box up with 22,000.
So what's the largest equipment or tractors that pull?
I run tractors in Addison up to 8-wheel drive, 47,000 pound tractors.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
And I used to run state level, New York state level 3-engine modified tractors. super farms and super stocks and things of that nature.
So what do you travel to go do this? You just northeast or what?
Yeah, from here to the other side of New York State, Vermont. We were in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and all over, but we backed off a little bit. We're getting older.
Nice. Larry, definitely appreciate you taking the time.
We had a lot of fun.
And
Good
absolutely,
day, man.
yeah, it's a great day.
Yeah.
Great day.
How much dust did you eat?
Just a little, maybe a cup or so. That's good, yeah.
Jonathan Myers at Ellenberg Center, New York. Set the number for that going to be.
Well, John, we actually seen you pulling a little bit earlier today, and you guys were hooking up really good. You got a beautiful truck. It's a 08 Chevy?
Yes, it is.
All right, what are you running for engine training combo?
This is a 6.6 Duramax with an Allison transmission, 6-speed.
Okay, how long you been pulling?
Oh, since I was about 15.
Yeah. Yeah, how old are you now?
29.
Yeah, so you got some time under your belt.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, I mean, I see here you got, obviously we see a good sized stack of weights here.
Yep.
This is for what?
This is for 8,500 pounds. It's about 1,300 pounds of weights.
Okay, so to make it into the class for pulling, obviously it's a four-wheel drive application.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're running 6.6 and an Allison training.
Yes.
So anything been beefed up with it, or is it all stock right from GM?
No, it's all stock. It's got a shift kit, stock turbo. It's got a Batmo wheel from Danville Performance, and EFI Live tuning by Danville Performance.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's take a step on back here. One of the big things that we did notice here on a lot of the pull-in trucks here, the tire pressure's on the front end. What's the deal with that?
Less tire pressure in the front drops your center of gravity down, which for weight transfer gets it down. Bite's better. Get more bite because you got a lot of weight on the back of the truck, where the front lower pressure makes it grab more.
Right, right. So that's excellent. What are you running for about what, maybe 8 or 10 psi in the front?
No, there's about 25, 28 pounds in there.
Wow, that extra weight really squishes them down.
Yeah, yes it does. Yes it does.
Nice. Well, let's take a walk around back. I think we're going to take a look and see how this hooks up, where you hook it up, and the safety features and stuff that these take. Well, here we're at the tail section of the truck here. There isn't too many safety features per se, but as we can see here, we have, it looks like an adjustable hitch.
Yes, it is. You can adjust it up. The pulling height for here is 26 inches, but you can adjust it up to probably 34, 35 and lower. Depends on your front end. When you add weight, it tends to pick the back of the truck up, which would raise your hitch height, so then you have to put it back down to be within the limits.
Absolutely, definitely makes sense.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, you've been pulling for a little while.
Yep.
What have you run before this here?
Used to pull a gas truck.
No kidding. Two-wheel drive?
No, four-wheel drive. I had a 0481 Chevy before this one.
Yeah.
And then our family has a super stock gas truck, 4x4.
Is this your first pull for the season?
Yes, it is. First pull this season. Yeah.
You guys travel around quite a bit. I see you got New York plates on here.
We're up next to the Canadian border. I mean, 5 miles from the Canadian border. So I pull here, Vermont, Quebec, and southern part of New York.
Beautiful. Well, hey man, I definitely appreciate you taking the time, and good luck on your season pulls.
Thank you.
As you can see what we have behind me, this isn't quite the Gravedigger. This is the same style of body as a panel style van or the old sedan delivery style trucks. This is also set up for pulling. This body is actually just sitting on a bare chassis. Inside, we're going to show you, is basically just a frame with a center located seat. We got the full-size boggers on here. And this is powered by a big block Chevy with the exhaust stack sticking out. I can't wait to see this run. We've heard it fire up and move on over this way here before it goes to the scales. Well, here on the back of this vehicle here, you can actually see the setup here. Like I said, it's basically just a shell bolted onto the chassis. You have your wheel wells in here. Obviously, you have the safety cage here. The chances of these ever rolling, it's not going to happen. But this here is basically, I would figure, for structural, for twisting, to keep the body and the chassis intact together. Obviously, you see the bumperettes here for backing this up to the sled. You know, obviously, and then this is where they hook up the big chain. This would be a great one to get a ride in. As you can see right here, This truck is actually getting hooked up right now with the chains. They hook it up to the chassis. And this here is the sled. They're actually going to pull the weight up as he's going down the track. This actually generates more weight on the back of the vehicle, and they try and go for a full pull. This is going to get pretty loud in just a second, but it is really awesome. Well, we're here with Penny. We're actually sitting inside of a golf cart, and we have a small laser set up here. Penny, why don't you tell us about this?
When the trucks start moving, it's zeroed out each time that the vehicle backs up. The distance between the sled is calculated at 31 feet 6 inches so that it catches the distance from the front of the pan. And you'll watch on the end target on the back side of the sled, you'll see a red dot appear when the smoke disappears. I have the warning light on because of the smoke. There's a sight with a small circle in it that gives you, and your ultimate distance is 32073, 32073. You read it back twice, it goes to a recorder up on stage, which then is given to the announcer.
Well, it sounds like we have some pretty beefy coming up right now.
Well, the two-wheel drive, yeah, this is the shorter of the two-wheel drive classes that they run locally. These are the fun guys. They have a lot of fun, and so do we, and they're very nice people.
So here we are with James at the truck pulls here, and it's a really nice looking truck here. James, what can you tell us about the truck?
It's 96 250. Guys at the shop, diesel shop. We put it together this winter, and we actually just started it for the first time Wednesday night. So
that's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was one of those mad dash for the last 2 weeks, and we did pretty good.
Yeah, nice. So I mean, have you pulled before? Have you had another truck before this one?
Well, I had this truck. I've had this truck for like 6 years, and I've been pulling it for like 2 years. And we just this winter totally changed the entire setup in the truck. New motor, new drivetrain, painted it, everything.
Now, what year was this?
1996.
96, and now I mean the drivetrain. I mean, obviously from front to back was all changed.
Yeah, it's a 7.3 still, the factory motor that could have been that was in the truck, but just rebuilt motor, rebuilt tranny, new clutch, changed the rear end into a bigger rear end. It's a Dana 80 now.
Okay.
Weighted clutch and the whole 9 yards.
Nice, nice. It sounds pretty heavy duty. Apparently it was pretty heavy duty to the point where there was a little small catastrophe on the track today. So what happened?
Just being a fresh setup, I may have come out of the hole a little too hard. Not really sure. Just rear drive shaft wasn't up for the challenge, and split the yoke in half on the back of the transfer case and the front of the drive shaft, and that was the end of today.
Well, you know, you have to come on out, and I mean, but that's part of testing and tuning. You know, I mean, it's never perfect right out of the box, so.
Yeah, just gonna go heavier wall drive shaft, heavier U-joints, go through all the rear drive shaft, and just as big as I can go.
Right. Well, let's. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at this broken drive shaft here. James is going to walk us through on the bottom side of this truck and a little bit of the outside. So let's check this out here. So James, what do you have underneath the bottom side here?
Basically, it's the stock front end that would be in a 350, but gears have been changed, and it's got a locker, and we did the U-joint shields just for safety, and pretty much the front's all just safety stuff was done, and little changes for make it really hook up. But
now the leaf springs, are they standard leaf springs? Are they heavy duty?
They're standard springs with an extra spring in it. That's it. Okay. Other than that, they're stock.
Does extra leaf help prevent extra bouncing in the front?
A little bit, and mostly just to get the right stance with the truck.
Okay.
Just to get everything so it's the way I wanted it, aligned wise.
Right, okay. So as we move back here, let's shuffle on over here. I see some heavy duty brackets here and some big red pipes, ladder bars here. What's the purpose of these here on a truck like this?
They're just basically there to keep the pinion angle set where we want it, so it helps so this doesn't happen, but obviously didn't help enough. But it keeps the truck going straight and just keeps the rear end planted, and it helps transfer the weight up through the frame the way we want it to.
Okay, so it basically helps a little more, a better hookup and whatnot?
Yep. Yeah, it helps the truck hook and helps to save parts most of the time.
Nice. Once you grab that drive shaft there, I'm sure we get a little shot of that here. That's pretty much what's left of it. It pretty much sheared the yoke right off there. Is pretty cool.
The top yoke's broke right in half. You can't really see it, but
wow. Now, very cool. I mean, you can't really see the size of the exhaust. We're gonna try and get a couple pictures for you and video of the exhaust coming through. Some big fat pipes on the bottom. So what's the size pipe on that?
It comes down 3-inch downpipe, but then it goes to 5-inch out the back just for flow.
Yep. Very nice. Well, I got to tell you, James, it's definitely a pleasure, taking the time, and it's a nice truck. I hope to see you at the next poll.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Rob, we already seen you pull today. Did you have to make any changes before you came up this time here?
Yeah, I had some blocks in the rear suspension. I think they did more harm than good, so I pulled them out. I'm going to give it another shot here now.
Okay, you think it was creating some hop in the back, or you weren't getting traction?
I think it was. I think the back was hopping because of it, so hopefully it don't now.
All right, sounds good, man. Hey, Rob, thanks for taking the time. Good luck out there on the track.
Thank you.
We're at the tail end of one of the classes, coming to the close of one of the first days here, and we're at the back of this F350 here. You can actually see the hitch right here where they hook up the chain to hook up to the sled in the back. Most of these diesels you're going to find with these stacks in the back anywhere from 4 to a 6-inch diameter. Actually pretty cool. See the things blowing smoke? It's just a good time all around. And what we have here is a nice classic old Ford, man. It's probably going to be running a big block. I'm going to guess a 460. We'll probably find out later on in the show. Hopefully this guy gets a good full pull. Here with Ben. Ben is actually the owner of NPD, and he's actually the host of the show and 110 Octane sponsor for this season at the show. Ben, how's everything going for the show today?
Great. I couldn't be asked for anything more.
I mean, there's a great turnout, a good amount of trucks here. We had obviously Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. It seemed like Chevy seemed to be dominating a little bit today.
Chevy's pulled very, very well.
Yeah.
They're very strong in the pulling series.
Is that a little odd, or is it normally Dodge pull it out, or what?
Dodge is generally the preferred truck for a truck pull.
Yep.
You know, the Cummins engines just seem to have it, but the Duramaxes are very, very strong.
I'm wondering if maybe it has something to do with the way the track is prepared. I mean, it's beautiful today. A little bit of dust, but it's packing down really nice.
Yeah, water is what really makes the difference on tightening the track up.
Yeah.
When it starts to dry out, it gets very loose, and then it becomes an issue with traction, and that's one of the biggest issues that people will have. So we try to water it in between some of the classes and keep some moisture in it, and it helps tighten it up.
Excellent. Now, your wife had actually driven yesterday,
Yeah.
and she actually did really good.
Yeah, she did. That was her first time ever behind the wheel of the pulling truck, and she did very well. I couldn't be more proud of her.
Yeah. So you're going to put her behind the wheel more often?
I'd like to. I don't know if she will. She was nervous about it. I've asked her for years to do it, and she was always nervous to do it.
And what's her name?
Kathy.
Kathy. So we're going to give a thumbs up for Kathy. She did awesome yesterday in the poll. And, once again, thanks again, Ben. We appreciate you being a sponsor and hosting the show. It was a great turnout, and I hopefully see you out here again.
Great. Thanks for being here.
I want to give a huge thanks to Ben over at Northeast Performance Diesel. These guys are based out of Milford, New Hampshire, right off of North River Road. You can actually see their name, phone number, and address right on the bottom of the screen here. And if you guys need anything, have any diesel performance questions or parts that you want to order up, these are the guys to see. As you can see here, we have one of the Excursions pulling up. Obviously, it's a diesel. We're running one of the Edge chips here. You can actually see one of the sponsors on the hat here. We're going to walk you through how they set up this dyno. You can actually see the rollers underneath here. We're going to show you what they set up. I mean, for safety, they got to tie this down. They got to do the straps and how they set up the dynometer on this here to tell you the torque rating and the speed and the RPMs and everything to tell you what the truck is actually putting out for horsepower and torque ratings. Right about now, you can actually see them running the heavy-duty straps here. They're going to be tying this down. The amount of torque that these actually put out, roughly anywhere between 600 and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. You really need something to anchor these trucks down so it doesn't actually launch off the platform here. And as we can see underneath the backside here, they're actually going to anchor this down to the axle. They'll actually run straps right around the axle. And they're going to tie it down in several spaces here, several spots. George, so what do we got going on here? What's this piece of equipment you have?
Well, what we got to do here is we have to get an RPM signal off the vehicle to reference the wheel speed. So we have to install this reflective tape here onto the crankshaft pulley, and then this optical eye here reads the engine RPM. It's extremely accurate, far more accurate than trying to hook onto a wire and measure some electrical signal. So
that piece of reflective tape, they're actually going to be sticking on for the pickup there, basically the reflective or magnetic pickup, going on the front of the crankshaft. That's actually on the front of the engine, the lowest part, and it's going to rotate with the engine crank, generating the RPM range.
Stops the rollers. I mean, the rollers weigh almost 4,000 pounds, so you don't want to be using people's brakes to do it. It's actually got air-powered train brakes on it.
Okay.
We have a screen up here, kind of hard to see during the day, but it's got vehicle speed, engine RPM, percentage of engine braking, all your humidity, ambient temperature, barometric pressure, all gives you a correction factor so that, you have a more consistent, even if you're running a vehicle in 100-degree weather on a dry day versus 60-degree weather on a humid day.
Okay. So what happens when you go, we're doing 3 pulls here.
Yeah.
Now, what's the strategy for this here? How do you know where to start and stop?
Every vehicle is different.
Okay. Is it any of it computer controlled?
Some of them it is, some of it isn't. I mean, Some of them, if this doesn't have a speed limiter, this is going to be one of the worst vehicles I'll have to do all day if the speed limiter hasn't been removed. And we'll find out shortly.
So what's going on right now?
The rollers only weigh about 4,000 pounds. These vehicles weigh 8 to 10. So to get a proper load on the vehicle, you use an overdrive. And when the speed limiter isn't out of a vehicle, then you can't really use overdrive. These vehicles don't have a selector, the specific one to shut off overdrive, so I have to run it up in third gear, load it, shift it to fourth, catch it just right, hit the gas and shut it down before it shifts to fifth, so I get a decent looking dyno graph.
Okay.
It's what you run into.
So according to this up here, it looks like the first pull was actually the better pull so far.
Yep. No, the second pull. As you see, the colors change.
So the second pull is stacked on the top?
Torque-wise, the first pull was better. Horsepower-wise, the second pull was better. It's just about getting it loaded in the right spot, you know?
Right here, Edge Programmer. This is actually one of the sponsors here at the show. And there's actually multiple levels of performance and towing capability and fuel and everything, correct?
Yes. You can set these all the way down from number, 1. You got your, he's got a mileage tune on number 1, a tow tune, drive tune for your daily driving. So you got some, and then we have our, we're gonna go to a race tune, and then we're gonna try the extreme tune. See what that does for me.
So we're actually gonna go for a level 5 tune here. You can actually see the speedometer and the tach coming up here. So it looks like we're pulling now, what, roughly 7 1/4 on the highest point for the torque?
Yep, it looks like, which run was that, number 4? Yeah, number 4 looks like a good run.
So we just had a Ford Excursion sitting on the dyno over here. We actually came over, we found Travis with his truck here. Travis, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Travis, I mean, we've seen some numbers. You pulled about 724 foot-pounds of torque.
Yep.
And what were you pulling for horsepower out of this?
About 364.
364. Now, we had previously spoken, and you said that the only modification you have to this is a Edge Performing Tuner.
That is correct. It's a Edge Juice with Attitude tuner. Stock exhaust, stock intake, everything, nothing's been touched on this truck.
All right, now this here is run a 6-liter.
Yep.
All right, and we brought it up there. They hooked everything up. I mean, so basically at this point here, you gained about 200 foot-pounds of torque, and roughly we calculated about 180 extra horsepower by bolting on this tuner.
Yeah, it's pretty it was impressive.
Yeah, substantial amount.
Yeah.
I mean, that was great. It's not the average vehicle we would see at a truck pull, but Travis comes out to these events here to just enjoy everything, and we had the dyno guys here and actually running great prices for everyone running, and so we figured, why not?
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, what's your next upgrade that you want to do?
I'd like to put a straight pipe exhaust on it. I actually unbolted the muffler from it for the dyno just to get a little better breathability, keep it cooler.
Yeah.
And that might have helped me a little bit more. It might be different on the street. I might have a little lower of a horsepower rating, but I'll sacrifice, for now until I get that exhaust in there.
Right. Well worth it. And these Edge units, what do they usually run? About $300?
I paid $350 for mine.
Yeah. So $350, and it took about what? 20 minutes.
20 minutes to install.
20 minutes install. You can't go wrong with that to gain the amount of performance between the horsepower and the torque range. It's the best bang for the buck on a diesel application. What do you think?
Oh, I love it.
We're here with Chris. He's running a Dodge Ram right here. Chris, how did you do on the first time you went out on the track today?
I pulled about 319 feet.
That's pretty good for a first pull.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, not bad. So what's the length of a full pull here?
I think they stop them at 350, but run them out and measure them still.
Right. Just keep on going.
Yeah.
So did you do any changes this time around to get a little more distance this time?
A little bit of air pressure adjustment. Threw some more weight in, and that was about it.
Now, when you put more weight in, do you have to run back through the scales and get everything readjusted and the height of the hitch and everything all done again?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
This class is open, so it's not as big of a deal, but...
Right. So what's the class that you're running in today?
This is the open class, gas or diesel trucks.
Excellent. Sounds good, man. Hey, appreciate it, and good luck. Now, as you see behind us, we have Casey running his F350. He's been pulling good all weekend. And Casey's doing great today for pulling. That truck seems to be hooking up fantastic.
353 feet, 0.6.
However, what they're going to be doing is actually they're going to go for a floating pull. This floating pull is actually as far as they can go. If they can go over the 300 feet, that's what they're going to pull for. Casey just seemed to pull that thing right out of the park here today, so that's pretty good. He's got that truck dialed in, so hopefully he's going to win his class. We'll see what happens later on.